Welcome back to the Daily Dialogue. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Sophia. Today, we're looking back at a very special date that just passed, March 8th, International Women's Day. And Sophia, I have to ask, how was your day? Did you get the proverbial mountain of tulips?
Hi Alex. Well, I did get some beautiful flowers, which I love, don't get me wrong. But it's such a fascinating day, isn't it? It's one of those holidays that feels very different depending on where you are in the world. In some places, it's like Mother's Day combined with Valentine's Day, and in others, it's a day of protest and political speeches.
It's a massive cultural chameleon. If you look at Eastern Europe or Central Asia, it's a huge celebration of femininity, flowers, perfumes, chocolates, and dinners. But if you look at the UN or Western Europe, the focus is entirely on gender equality, women's rights, and economic empowerment. It's almost like two different holidays sharing the same date.
Exactly. And I think that creates a bit of a tension. On one hand, it's lovely to be celebrated and given flowers. Who doesn't like feeling special? But on the other hand, there's this growing feeling among women that one day of flowers doesn't make up for 364 days of inequality. It can feel a bit performative.
Performative, that's the word. I saw a lot of companies posting Happy Women's Day on social media with pink backgrounds and flowers, but then people were looking up their gender pay gap statistics. It's like the greenwashing of women's rights. People want the aesthetic of support without the action of support.
It's a corporate mask. But let's talk about the gift culture. For men, March 8th can be quite a stressful day, can't it? I saw guys at the florist looking like they were in a battlefield, just trying to find the last bouquet of tulips before they were late for dinner.
It's a high-stakes mission. There's a lot of pressure. If you forget, or if you get the wrong flowers, it's like a social disaster. But I think the problem is that we've commercialized the day so much that we've lost the original spirit of it. Do people even remember that this started as a labor strike by garment workers?
Most people don't. It started with women demanding better pay, shorter hours, and the right to vote. It was a day of solidarity and courage. When we turn it into just buy a box of chocolates, we're kind of softening a history that was actually very tough and revolutionary.
It's the domesticated version of the holiday. But I want to defend the flowers for a second. In a world that is often very cold and busy, isn't it nice to have a day where we stop and explicitly show appreciation for the women in our lives? My grandmother, for example, loves the tradition. To her, it's a sign of respect.
I agree with you, Alex. I don't think we should cancel the flowers. Appreciation is beautiful. But maybe we should change the definition of the appreciation. Instead of saying, thank you for being beautiful and gentle, maybe we should be saying, thank you for your strength, your leadership, and your contribution to my life and society.
That is a huge shift in messaging. It moves from passive admiration to active recognition. And I think that's what the younger generation is looking for. They don't want to be protected like a flower, they want to be respected like a partner.
And that brings up the question of the other 364 days. If a man buys a huge bouquet on March 8th but doesn't help with the housework or child rearing the rest of the year, that bouquet feels very heavy. It's like a bribe for silence.
A bribe for silence, that's a sharp way to put it. It's the holiday hypocrisy. But I noticed something interesting this year. More and more women are buying flowers for each other. There's a shift toward female solidarity rather than just waiting for a man to provide the celebration.
Galentine's but on March 8th. I love that. My friends and I went out for brunch, and it felt so much more meaningful to celebrate each other's successes and support each other's struggles. It felt less like a ritual and more like a community.
It's about taking the power back. But Sophia, let's be real, even with all the progress, March 8th still highlights some big gaps. For example, the invisible labor of organizing the celebration. Who usually organizes the office party for Women's Day? Often, it's the women.
Isn't that the ultimate irony? Happy Women's Day, Sophia. Now, could you please organize the catering and the flowers for the other women? It's a double burden even on our own holiday.
It's a paradox. But I think the conversation is moving in the right direction. We are finally asking, what do women actually want? And the answer is usually, equal opportunity, respect, and maybe, if you insist, some tulips.
Exactly. We want the tulips and the equal pay. Don't make us choose.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the men's role in all of this, how to celebrate without being cringe, and why the future of March 8th might be more about systemic change than individual gifts.
I'm ready. Let's take a quick breather.
And we are back. Before the break, Sophia, we were laughing about the irony of women organizing their own Women's Day parties. But let's look at the men's perspective for a second. For a lot of guys, March 8th feels like walking through a social minefield.
A minefield? Laughs. That sounds a bit dramatic, Alex. Are you saying it's hard to just be nice and say Happy Women's Day?
It's not about being nice, it's about the intent. Men today are stuck between two worlds. One world tells them to be chivalrous, buy flowers, open doors, be a gentleman. The other world tells them that chivalry is patronizing, and that women just want to be treated as equals. So, the poor guy stands there with a bouquet of roses thinking, am I being romantic or am I being sexist?
I see the dilemma. But I think the solution is actually very simple: communication. If you're buying flowers because you think women are fragile ornaments, that's one thing. But if you're buying flowers because you genuinely admire a woman's hard work and presence in your life, that's completely different.
It's about the energy behind the gift. But let's talk about the corporate cringe. We've all seen it. The office manager sends a mass email, Happy Ladies' Day. There are cupcakes in the kitchen. And all the women are sitting there thinking, I'd rather have a promotion or a flexible work schedule than a cupcake.
Oh, the cupcake strategy. Laughs. It's the ultimate band-aid on a deep wound. It's a token gesture. Companies use March 8th to look diverse on LinkedIn, but then they don't have a single woman on their board of directors. That's what we call gender washing.
It's a performance. But I think the younger generation is calling out this behavior. They are looking for allies, not sponsors. An ally is someone who speaks up for women in the meeting room when they aren't there. An ally is a husband who does 50% of the emotional labor at home without being asked or reminded.
That is the best gift a woman can get. Active partnership. I've noticed that the most empowered women I know are the ones who have a partner at home who actually treats the household like a team. That's much more romantic than a box of chocolates once a year.
It's about structural support. But Sophia, let's talk about the global perspective. We are lucky to live in a place where March 8th is mostly about flowers and debates. In many parts of the world, women are still fighting for the basic right to go to school, to drive, or to own property.
That is a very necessary reality check, Alex. Sometimes we get so caught up in the flower versus equality debate that we forget the women who are literally risking their lives for freedom. For them, March 8th is not a holiday, it's a battle cry.
It's a day of resistance. And I think we have a responsibility to use our privilege to support them. Maybe instead of spending $50 on a massive bouquet that will die in 3 days, we should donate that money to a charity that supports girls' education in developing countries.
I love that idea. It's actionable gratitude. It turns a symbolic day into a tangible change. Imagine if every woman who received flowers also had a donation made in her name to help another woman somewhere else. That would be a truly International Women's Day.
That would change the world. But let's bring it back to the individual level. For a woman who had a typical March 8th this year, received some flowers, had a nice dinner, how can she make the spirit of the day last longer than the tulips?
I think it's about self-advocacy. Use the energy of the day to ask yourself, where am I shrinking myself to fit in? Where am I not asking for what I deserve? Don't wait for March 8th to feel valuable. Validate yourself every single day.
And for the men? My advice would be, observe and listen. Don't just celebrate women, study their experience. Understand the invisible barriers they face. If you see a woman being interrupted in a meeting, speak up. I'd like to hear what Sophia was saying. That is a bouquet of respect that never dies.
A bouquet of respect. That is so poetic, Alex. Laughs. I think we found the perfect gift.
I try my best. But seriously, March 8th shouldn't be the end of the conversation, it should be the start of the year's progress. It's a checkpoint to see how far we've come and how much further we have to go.
Well, this year's checkpoint was very interesting. I feel like the masks are falling off, and the real conversations are finally happening. We are moving from flowers to power, and that's a beautiful thing to see.
It's a evolution. And I'm glad to be witnessing it with you, Sophia. To all the women listening, we see your strength, we admire your courage, and we are grateful for your presence in this world.
And to the men, thank you for being our allies, our partners, and our friends. Let's keep building this team together.
Well, that's all for today's episode. I hope your March 8th was meaningful, however you chose to spend it.
See you in the next episode of the Daily Dialogue. Stay strong, stay equal.
Bye everyone.
Bye.